My name is Mark Sullivan, and for most of my life, I believed people would leave you alone if you minded your own business. Then Karen moved in across the street, and everything changed. I was a retired Marine Corps veteran living in a quiet neighborhood outside Dallas. After 30 years of service, all I wanted was a peaceful life. Nothing fancy. A small house, a decent lawn, a fishing boat, and one American flag flying proudly in front of my home. That flag meant something to me. It wasn't political. It wasn't meant to start arguments. It represented friends who never came home. People whose names were etched into memorial walls. People I still thought about every day. Every morning, I raised it. Every evening, I lowered it. It was a simple routine. One I'd followed for years. Nobody had ever complained. Until Karen arrived. Karen purchased the house directly across from mine during the spring. The first thing she did wasn't introduce herself. It wasn't meet the neighbors. It wasn't unpack boxes. No. The first thing she did was complain. She complained about parking. She complained about dogs. She complained about lawn decorations. She even complained about birds gathering near her backyard feeder. Within weeks, everyone knew her name. And not for good reasons. Still, I stayed out of it. I had learned long ago that some battles weren't worth fighting. Unfortunately, Karen had other plans. One Saturday morning, I was trimming hedges when she walked across the street. She stopped in front of my yard. Hands on her hips. Expression already annoyed. I knew this wasn't going to be pleasant. "Can I help you?" I asked. She pointed toward the flagpole. "Actually, yes." I waited. "You need to take that down." I blinked. "The flag?" "Yes." For a second, I thought she was joking. She wasn't. "Why?" Karen folded her arms. "It's too large." I looked up. The flag measured exactly the size allowed by local regulations. Nothing unusual. I've had it for years. "Well, I don't like it." I almost laughed. Almost. Instead, I kept my voice calm. Fortunately, neighborhood rules don't depend on personal opinions. Her face tightened. "You think you're funny?" "No. I'm serious." "So am I." Karen stared at me, clearly expecting me to surrender. When I didn't, she turned around and walked away. I figured that would be the end of it. I was wrong. Very wrong. 3 days later, I found a notice attached to my front door. A formal complaint. Someone had reported my flag display. I read it twice. Then 3 times. The complaint claimed the flag violated community standards. That made absolutely no sense. The flagpole had been approved years earlier. The flag itself followed every rule. Everything was legal. I contacted the Homeowners Association immediately. The representative sounded embarrassed. "Mr. Sullivan, we already reviewed it." "And?" "You're not violating anything." "So why did I receive this notice?" A long pause followed. Finally, she sighed. "Because Karen won't stop filing complaints." I rubbed my forehead. "You're kidding." I wish I was. Over the next 2 weeks, Karen filed complaint after complaint. One claimed the flag was too bright. Another claimed it lowered property values. A third claimed it made visitors uncomfortable. Each complaint was rejected. Every single one. Most people would have given up. Karen wasn't most people. She became obsessed. Neighbors started talking. Some laughed about it. Others avoided her entirely. Meanwhile, I continued my routine. Raise the flag. Lower the flag. Ignore the drama. Life went on. Until the police arrived. It happened on a Tuesday afternoon. A patrol car stopped in front of my house. Then another. Neighbors peeked through windows. People stepped onto porches. Everyone wondered what was happening. Including me. 2 officers approached my driveway. I greeted them politely. "Afternoon, officers." One officer nodded. "Mr. Sullivan." "That's me." "We received a complaint." Of course they did. I already knew who made it. "What kind of complaint?" The younger officer looked uncomfortable. The older officer tried not to smile. Finally he answered. Someone reported an illegal flag display. I stared at him. He stared back. Then we both laughed. The younger officer looked confused. The older officer shook his head. Sir, we are required to investigate. No problem. I pointed toward the flag. Take all the time you need. The officers examined everything. Measurements, permits, installation records. 5 minutes later, they were done. The older officer turned toward his partner. Everything checks out. The younger officer nodded. Completely legal. Neither were they. But somebody else was watching. Karen. Standing across the street. Waiting. Expecting me to get into trouble. The officers noticed her immediately. So did the neighbors. One officer walked across the street. Karen smiled, probably assuming she was about to receive good news. Instead, the officer handed her a document. Her smile disappeared. Then came confusion. Then panic. Then anger. The officer spoke for nearly a minute. Karen's face turned bright red. When he finished, she looked stunned. Absolutely stunned. Because the document wasn't about my flag. It was about her. And things were about to get much worse. The next morning, I woke up to an unusual sight. News vans. 3 of them. Parked near our neighborhood entrance. Reporters. Cameras. Photographers. By noon, the entire street was buzzing with rumors. Nobody knew what was happening. Then a black SUV arrived. Followed by another. And another. Several city officials stepped out. Among them was someone I recognized instantly. The mayor. And judging by the look on Karen's face, she had absolutely no idea why he was there. To be continued.